Hello guys, it's me, Adam Sheep. I got a new microphone while filming this video, so let me know what you think about it in the comments. I mean, you might not hear it, that might be not really a good microphone. Hang on, let me test. Woo! Well, I mean, probably that's not good. Anyway, now for Ohio. You might hear the video cut to not having a microphone. It's because of an incident where I accidentally deleted my video that I was recording and editing. But no worries, I can just reenact it. So this is without a doubt the reenaction of my video. It may be shorter or longer, I don't know. Anyway, so let's just start. So sticks and stones in Ohio, they don't really break any bones for some reason. And the rain here in Ohio, it melts your clothes. It's not acid rain, it's just it melts your clothes. Nothing else except for your clothes, okay? So, you're safe for now. And in Ohio, you can sleep, but you gotta have some things that can help you sleep because of the monsters there. Don't worry. There are only 3 types of demons: the Sitter, the Starer, and the Tasmanian Devil. So this is how to fend those demons off when you're trying to sleep in Ohio. So basically, this is how you fend off the Sitter. Now the Sitter, it doesn't want to eat you. When it's basically sitting on your bed and not looking at you, it's basically a monster that's overweight. And it's trying to check its weight to see how many kilos it's been gaining. So, if you basically want it to not destroy your bed, next time place a scale beside your bed, and then the monster will go to that scale. And then it'll be like, 5 kilos, I need to trim down. So, however, you, the viewer, have to become their personal trainer. Help them lose weight. And be their trainer. Then they will thank you and never ever haunt you again. Now we go to the Starers. Starers are basically monsters that are very shy. They are very shy. And also, I'm recording this on October, so yeah. So they're basically very shy monsters. And they don't they don't want to hurt you. It's just they're trying to practice social skills, but they can't. Because they don't have anything to practice with. So they can only, practice with you, but they can't. So next time, place a computer next to your bed, and then they will learn to have some social skills, and then they will never haunt you again. Now we get to the Tasmanian Devil. The Tasmanian Devil are basically harmful monsters that want to kill you and eat your organs. Because there are types of monsters. There are good monsters, like Longhorse and other stuff. There are bad monsters, like Cotton Cat and the Skinwalkers. So basically to fend them off, you have to spray Dream Spray all over your room. You can buy it in the Ohio shop. Then, when they smell your room, they'll be like, and they'll go away. Dream Spray actually smells nice, but for some reason, monsters don't like it. They just it's not an ordinary perfume. It's infused with magic. That's why it makes it seem to the bad monsters that it smells bad, when it actually smells good. Because of course it smells good. Anyway. Right. Now that we've gone to the sleeping stuff, yeah, and also public pools. You can't actually swim in public pools in Ohio. It's because there are sharks in them. However, they're not going to be in your kiddie pool, so you're safe. But, however, it's not Ohio's fault for putting the sharks in the pool. It's their sewage. Because, you see, before, Ohio sewage was dirty. Now, it's clean. And it, basically has all sea creatures coming. Yes, even big ones can fit and go into the pools because there's just a giant hole in the pool that just gets, these things out. That's why there are sometimes sharks in the pools. So be very careful. But it's not Ohio's fault. The reason why they had to remove those, their original sewage was because of the property tax. So they had to get those cheap, big pipes instead of those, traditional, long, skinny pipes. But I don't really blame Ohio because, things have been actually quite expensive in 2020. I know it's 2024, but anyway. No way, it's 2025. Anyway. So, hang on, which unit are we? Oh yeah. Now, in Ohio, you cannot touch grass. I don't mean it in a metaphorical way. I mean it physically. Because the grass, can't kill you, but just hurts you. But, you can't really, it doesn't really hurt you if you have clothes on. But if you're completely naked, then, yeah, it'll hurt you. It'll just magically turn to sharp grass and hurt you when you're completely naked. So yeah, when you're in Ohio, don't touch grass when you're naked. That's the rule. And the Ohio shop actually has two sections. Sentient tomatoes and non-sentient tomatoes. Sentient tomatoes are basically, the sentient tomatoes and the non-sentient tomatoes look the same. Don't eat the sentient ones. They actually have a consciousness and can feel pain. It's just they look and behave like normal tomatoes. How do you talk to them, you ask? Simple. Pour ketchup on them. Not the ketchup from the sentient tomatoes, ketchup from non-sentient tomatoes. Then the tomato will spring to life. And it'll basically just, it will just spring to life. And you can talk to it and you can have it as your pet. Yeah. Now we have, now, there are loads of variety in Ohio. Now, there are sometimes drones that hold posters of movies created by Glitch Productions. Now, Ohio, for some reason, it just really likes Glitch for some reason. So, if you want to see those posters carried by drones, here is how to see them. And yes, I've seen all of them except for murder drones, but I do know a little bit about murder drones. So yeah, if you basically like want to see the murder drones flying by your home on a drone, the poster held up by a drone, then you're gonna have to stay at home for a while, then it will basically fly. And for the amazing digital circus, if you want this poster to show up with a drone flying by your home, then you basically have to kill Pennywise. And it's actually quite possible. You just have to use the Infinity Gauntlet, you idiot. You can buy one on eBay in Ohio. Just the Infinity Gauntlet is only limited to use for good stuff, not bad stuff. So you won't be able to become the evil villain Thanos. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. But, if you want to see the Gaslight District, then you have to live in Cleveland. Get it? I mean, when I say, see Gaslight District, you'll see the poster of it carried by a drone. Anyway, you don't know the drill. If you want to see, like, Knights of Guinevere, yes, I've seen the pilot. You can, see it. If you want to see Knights of Guinevere, the poster for it, you have to watch, you guessed it, the trailer for Knights of Guinevere. Or you can call Disney a... Also, I know the Ohio meme's dead. It's just a fun thing to cover. Anyway, let's continue the path of Ohio. So, let's talk about the fire in Ohio. Now, the fire is basically just normal fire. But there is a rare physics phenomenon in Ohio. The fire will become cold. I mean, not its counterparts, but the fire. Though this physics phenomenon is very rare, but it can still happen to the fire. Although mainly the fire is warm in Ohio, so you're safe. For now. And Ohio just really likes Michael Jackson. Anyway. And, also, can I, ask you a riddle? Do you know why your dad never came back with the milk? It's because he's got sent to another inescapable dimension. Now, Ohio does have different types of milk. They got, they have, the space milk, which comes from zombie cows. Don't worry, those aren't real zombie cows. They're alien zombie cows that look like zombie cows. Their milk isn't called Zilk, it's called space milk, and it's actually really sweet and good for your body. And besides, is lactose free. Which makes sense because they're aliens. Why would they have lactose? Their milk contains sucrose, which is a good relief for me because I, as you know, I'm lactose intolerant. And the pink milk is it comes from pink cows. They're basically cows but pink, and the milk is pink. It's lactose free, but which doesn't make sense, but, what can I say? It's Ohio. Nothing is supposed to make sense here. And if there was something that made sense in Ohio, it wouldn't really make sense to the residents that live here. I mean, to be fair, there are some things that make sense in Ohio, and they make sense. But, anyway, let's continue. Anyway, enough about me doing disgusting things with my tongue. Now it's time to continue. I promise you I'm not gonna minge. Okay? Alright. Let's continue now. Let's talk about the glitchy milk. Now, the reason why, Ohio can afford cows to graze, but they can't really afford to milk their milk. But I don't blame Ohio because things have been really expensive in 2020. So, they decided to buy the glitchy cows. They were cheap, their milk was good, but there was one problem. When you touch the milk carton, you would get transported into an inescapable dimension that is only escapable if you have gone into the dimension directly. And when I say directly, I mean build a portal. You just need to get some computers in arrangement and then, light it with flint and steel. And then you're good to go. Yeah, that dimension is very weird. I don't want to go too much in depth of that. But yeah. And that is that. Alright. Where were we? So yeah, and that is that. And in Ohio, you can still call people on mobile. But if you want to call a lawyer in Ohio, then you have to use those old 1963 phones. Don't worry, you can get one free in Ohio, and it comes, not with a phone book, with a phone pad. Anyway, so yeah. Yeah, so, and in Ohio, the onions there are sentient. There are normal onions and sentient onions. Because, of course, there are, normal and sentient onions. There's only one sentient onion in the Ohio. He belongs in the root pack. And is only sad when you remind him of, something traumatizing or his past trauma. So just don't, traumatize him. So yeah, apparently in Ohio, covered is real. Yeah, apparently. I am cutting to non-mic. I repeat, I am cutting to non-mic. Yeah, the covered show is real. In Ohio. Now, also, did I forget to mention something important about Ohio? Because you see, in Ohio, sometimes, it doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes the fish just switch places. The fish just go into the sky, but we don't switch places. The fish do. But it's a rare occurrence in Ohio, so it only happens on special occasions, like flying fish, which is an Ohio celebration. We don't know when it is celebrated, but it is an Ohio celebration, and it also happens on another celebration called Bamblestick Mini Fry, which is a celebration on May the 30th to honor the French Fry King as he sets the fish free to fly in the sky. Yeah, which is something that is very weird in Ohio. Now, Ohio had some rights for presidency, for mayor. They had some unusual mayors. I mean, they made good laws, but there was one mayor, Sheepy Rampton. Because, see, in Ohio, you're allowed to marry anything. Anything inanimate, or an animal, or anything else you can imagine. You can even be married to aliens. You can marry anything. In Ohio, and also anything and everything had the right to vote. And, be president for some reason. Yeah, those were laws created by Ohio's human mayor. So now Ohio is occupied by some weird creatures. But that's not how Ohio became weird. It's not because of him. It was far, far back before the present times, before 1963, at the cave times where magic was common. Nowadays, magic isn't common, except if you're in Ohio. To the point where people think that doesn't exist because it's less common. So it shouldn't exist, but in Ohio, it does, because Ohio is weird. Anything can happen there. Physics stays the same in Ohio, but sometimes it takes a break. But it doesn't. But the outcomes of physics taking a break is not dangerous. It's just weird. Yeah, the fish in the sky that are somehow living and breathing in the sky is basically just physics taking a break in Ohio. Because the higher the weirdness, sometimes physics just like it goes like, sorry, crappy bad demonstration. So physics starts here. When it takes a break, it goes above here. Then when it goes back to normal, it goes down here. Sorry about that, it was just a bad presentation. Anyway. So, yeah. And there were some presidents in Ohio, and the sheep president, the half sheep, half human president, called Sheeply Shambly, made the rules of Ohio. He also made babies in a courtroom and made the negative $12 bill, a bit like Quentin Tremblay, but more Ohio. Yeah. And then there was Mantis Lincoln, which was basically an alien praying mantis. Alien praying mantises is basically just mantises, but they are the size of a human, and they can speak human. They understand human, they sometimes do human things, and mantis things also. Just with a few differences, and they also got UFOs, yeah, alien mantises from the planet Zorgog that I will talk about in a future video. So, yeah, an alien mantis became president, then after he resigned, then there was there was Mayor Sheepface. Yeah. All those Ohio mayorship. Now, if you look up the history of Ohio in r/Ohio, you might find that there were phones in the 1990s. Well, it's because in Ohio, it wasn't actually the 1990s, it was the 2000s where the phones were active. But Ohio years is based off the number of sheep it gets. The days are normal, but the year changes only when the population of sheep in Ohio grows higher. But then in 2024, they decided to quit that. So now the year is 2024. But if you've gone back to Ohio in, let's say, 2001, you'll find out that, I mean, if you've gone back to Ohio in 2001 Ohio was, you got back to 2001 in Ohio, and on your time machine, it says 1952. And you were like, oh my god. Yeah, that's why in Ohio they had mobile phones and all the present day stuff. Yeah, because they were in the present days. It was before 2023 and 2024. And 2025. It was before all of the good years. And it was also before 2013. Don't ask why. Now I'm going to tell you about, not the history of Ohio, but the mayorship history of Ohio, which is the Ohioan Civil War. And also, I forgot to mention that the world may become Ohio. Ohio's not going to take over the world. It's just, in the world, there will be multiple Ohios. And it'll be, like, international. Ohio will just be international. But we do not know when it will happen. It might happen in 4,000 years. We do not know, but it might happen. So, if you see anything weird, then that must be Ohio planning to become international. Get it? Because the reason why Ohio's weirdness cannot come out is a bit like Gravity Falls. They have a weirdness barrier. But every day it extends. I am cutting to Mike. I repeat, I am cutting to Mike. Well, sorry about that, but again, I've deleted a video file again, so I have to reenact this video file. It's only a short segment, so, like, also forgot to mention some stuff. So, first of all, sometimes an alien will be dancing in front of your door in Ohio. That's not a big issue. The clouds can sometimes get on the floor in Ohio. Again, that's just the physics phenomenon. And, hang on, what else? And also, the Ministry of Ohio doesn't really want me to tell you this, but, I mean, if you want to know more about Ohio, you can always look at, r/Ohio. It's not really a big deal, so you can, go ahead and look at, r/Ohio in Reddit if you have Reddit. Anyway, I hope you have a nice day. Like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.